Hey everybody, how's everybody doing tonight? It's Dakota from Dakota's Den. It's late here in Pennsylvania, and I just happened to be watching the news, CNN specifically, and I did a video about a week ago. It was a variety of topics, but I did hit on Alligator Alcatraz, the new detention center where the immigrants being deported are going to be detained. And I feel somehow fascinated about this alligator Alcatraz. Uh, I think it's bad. It's one of the most horrible things I've ever heard in my life. Some people are calling it a concentration camp. Uh, but like I said, I've been fascinated about it. But finally, there's been a tour. I was looking at CNN and I saw that they were finally lawmakers were able to tour Alligator Alcatraz to see what it looked like, what it was about, how it compared with the current detention centers. And, here I am. I just wanted to show it to you guys, for you guys who might have missed it, because it's a serious situation. And in short, Alligator Alcatraz is an immigration detention facility erected at Dade Collier Training and Transition Airport inside Big Cypress National Preserve in Okeechobee, Florida, in the United States. Okeechobee, Florida. Never heard of Okeechobee, Florida. Anyway, Alligator Alcatraz is expected to cost $450 million to operate for a single year, according to one DHS official. And how big is the property? The property is 28,000 acres. 28,000 acres. I can't even wrap my head around that. Um, 39 square miles. So 40 miles up, 40 miles back. That's a long ride. And it's in Miami-Dade County by the Collier County. Not good, not good. If I was an immigrant, I would self-deport because I would not be caught in Alligator Alcatraz in the Florida Everglades. Um, it's just not looking good. Few outsiders, non-detainees, or employees have been allowed inside until now. That's what I thought because I wanted to see inside. And with this video, I'm going to show you we are finally going to be able to see inside. Wow. Mm-mm-mm. Okay, now let's listen to this 9-minute newscast to see what Alligator Alcatraz looks like and acts like and smells like and feels like inside.
I got a chance to go inside the state's new detention facility in the Everglades. Probably heard it's being dubbed Alligator Alcatraz. And while Florida state officials say that conditions there are better than inside some U.S. prisons, Democratic lawmakers, they're not convinced.
The conditions that we saw inside this internment camp, which it is nothing less than that description, were really appalling.
Mm.
Well, they say they were not allowed to see the unit where migrants were actually being detained, just the empty ones. Florida State Representative Angie Nixon, she joins me now. Representative Nixon,
Go.
what stood out to you most? What did you see?
What stood out, hi, thanks for having me, Victor. What stood out to me the most was going into the caged facility and witnessing where they housed over 32 grown men together with only 3 toilets, and those toilets were the same places that the folks would get their water from. It was really appalling and disheartening to see. Not only that, but the director of Florida Department of Emergency Management was very evasive in his questioning. We often asked who were the vendors and things like that, and they continually said, "Oh, you have to file requests." They were very evasive. At the end of the day, this is a 450 million taxpayer dollar facility facility, internment camp, that was just done for a political stunt when Ron DeSantis just previously, a few days before, vetoed appropriations that could have addressed mental health in our communities, that could have addressed the rising cost of
Hello, my name is Adam Ferrari, the Chief Executive Officer of Phoenix Energy. I look forward to you joining us at our next investor.
home insurance. He decided to do and partake in this political stunt with Donald Trump, and it's just very upsetting.
So, was there anything that was off limits that you were not allowed to see?
Yeah, so I just want to be clear. There were two tours that happened. I was in the second tour, and apparently the first tour ran a little long, and many of my colleagues stated that some of the detainees were shouting freedom, freedom in Spanish. And when we came in for the second tour, we were rushed, and they kept making mention that there were rains about to come. And so we were not able to see the detainees in the place where they sleep. We were able to see detainees in the intake area. They were saying muy mal, meaning bad in English. And so towards the end of the tour, we were still supposed to have a lot of time. They rushed us out, stating that there was a security issue and they had to put the facility on lockdown. But
Well, I don't know what the security issue is, but just so you'll know, at the current time, there's 1.5 alligators living in Florida. 1.25 million alligators living in Florida at the present time. Just a small bit of information.
we know that it was more than likely because they didn't want us to see the flooding that would be taking place if the rains came. They rushed us off, didn't say bye. Just it was very upsetting, and the fact that we are hearing reports from multiple families that go against everything that the directors and the vendors were saying in regards to them not having access to food, not having access to showers, and it just shows that they have a lot to hide, which is why me and 4 other lawmakers decided to file a lawsuit because Ron DeSantis and his administration continually overreaches. They continually lack transparency. The fact that Ron DeSantis and Donald Trump are now offering these no-bid contracts to throw up these makeshift detention centers, these makeshift internment camps, should put us all on notice as Americans that this is not the type of America we want to see.
That was my question to you, that you're in the same predicament as congressional Democrats in the minority in the legislature. And so with this information that you have gained, with the knowledge you have after the tour, what do you do with it?
Good question.
So we filed a lawsuit because it is our statutory right to be able to pop up at these facilities unannounced. And initially, on last week, they blocked me and 4 other legislators from coming into the facility. And so we are suing Ron DeSantis, James Ootmeyer, who is in a...
So they're suing because they have the right to visit these facilities unannounced, and they're not being able to. That's kind of weird. What do they have to hide is right. I don't understand that. But they're suing Ron DeSantis.
Appointed, not elected Attorney General because of the things that they're doing here. We feel that they have a lot of things that they are hiding. Look, at the end of the day, this was simply a hyper curated, super sanitized field trip. And we should be concerned as Americans, as people who should have humanity, that my Republican colleagues are trying to make this a joke about how harsh they can name this facility and really how harsh they can treat people. But right now they're simply not being transparent. We are hearing horrible reports coming out of the facility. And again, it is a waste of taxpayer dollars.
Well, the
not only that,
Department of Homeland Security says that this will be replicated in other places, if not in Florida, but across the country as well, and will reimburse these states for these facilities. Florida State Representative.
My question is, how many I really don't know. I guess I could ask Alexa. But how many immigrants are in the United States? From what I understand, they already deported hundreds of thousands of immigrants. I know Joe Biden and Obama deported hundreds of thousands of immigrants. And now they want more detention centers. Is there going to be anybody left in this country? Let's continue.
Angie Nixon, I got to go, but I thank you so much for sharing the report from your visit to the facility. Some Florida members of Congress, Democrats specifically, they finally got a chance to go inside the state's new detention facility in the Florida Everglades. You've heard it referred to as the Alligator Alcatraz. That's a name that the state's attorney general has given it. It's also embraced by the Trump administration. And while Florida officials, the state officials, maintain that conditions there are better than in some U.S. prisons, Democratic lawmakers, they're not convinced.
What we saw, the conditions that we saw.
Okay. So, like I said, I came across this CNN report on Alligator Alcatraz, and like I said, I'm kind of like fixated on these detention centers, concentration camps. You call them what you want to call them. And I guess I'm just on here to probably say to immigrants or brown people, Latinos or whatever, if it was me, I would just self-deport. I would just self-deport and find my way back the legal way so I wouldn't have to worry about any place like Alligator Alcatraz, because to me it is terrifying. It is terrifying. And will children be there as well? Will pregnant women be there as well? I don't know, but I certainly hope not, but I think that they will. I don't even know what else to say. I'm just gonna stay on top of this story. Well, I wonder, like, with the next presidency, I wonder if these detention centers will just go away. Each president or each administration picks their own cabinets. They have their own rules, their own laws, their own everything. They can get rid of things that they want to get rid of, and they can keep things that they want to keep. And I'm curious to know, what are they going to do with the immigrants? Are they going to say, oh, those of you who were deported, we're going to bring you back? So those of you who are in detention centers like Alligator Alcatraz, we're shutting it down. I'm just curious. I don't know. I just read it, and because I was always wondering about it, I wanted to see what it looked like, and now we see basically just cages and beds with a lot of men and a few bathrooms. That's it. So everybody, this is Dakota, and please do me a favor, like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I would greatly appreciate it, and I will see you guys on the next video. Bye.